Ladies and gentlemen, here I was. I just did an interview with Sam Al-Jami, and I was getting ready to maybe take a nap and call it for tonight and get ready for tomorrow. But then there was a guy that was in my stream, a guy that I know from years ago on the other end of the world, a guy I knew from a wrestling company that I'm going to just say very little about in nonstop action wrestling. And he certainly was a part of that. And yes, we do see the misses
Yes.
there. And nice to meet you too, finally. And this is what you get live on Sportswire Radio. Yes, boy, you didn't have a misses then, but now you
No.
do. You're in
I do
this
now.
end of the world, and you got a lot to talk about. You got a lot to say, and we're going to talk about that here because I'm wondering. I mean, boy, this is going to be a memorable one tonight because the last time I spoke with you, you were on the verge of some big things then. So I think you just won a title there, if I'm not mistaken. And that was
I
about 3
did,
years.
yes.
You
Yeah.
did win a title about 3 years ago. You were on your way to bigger and better things. And while I'm certainly not going to regurgitate the past, I'm going to talk about the future and also talk about some people that we know that have recently been on this platform and what a small world this wrestling world is. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what you're doing right now, what you want to do, and who knows whatever else here. But, since we're here, ladies and gentlemen, unexpectedly in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters here to the tune of nearly 1,400 subscribers. And this was a guy that you might want to say is one of the OGs of the platform. We used to do this on Facebook. We used to be just Facebook Lives. He was here, and I think you came on twice on Sports. I think you had 2 appearances, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was 2
Yes,
times.
this would mark my third.
Yeah, you were here twice, but there was a different time in a different world. And I actually don't have to worry about UK time. You're here in this side of the world. I am now, however, going to give you an introduction that you might want to say you didn't get all those times. I mean, you kind of got them, but I think now they've really become into their own. In fact, they've become so much a life of their own they've taken that even these guys, Rhino and Savio Vega, actually like them. So I'm going to have to give it to you.
Right the second time around. I
Yeah,
think
well, I think this first time I didn't. The second time I was getting there, but the third time we're gonna definitely get it up here a notch because this is one I'm gonna remember for a long time here. And let's get this show on the road because you're waiting for it, he's waiting for it, and I'm waiting for it because I'm actually again at 100%, which is usually very rare these days. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce this man, a friend, a true OG, and it marks the second OG this week from the UK on Sportswire Radio that came on the show after not being here in years. The other one was Rick Marcus, now the God of Morecambe. So now it is time to give us here a hellhound-like introduction in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all wrestling matters, Sportswire Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this show on the road here in style. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one, Sports Show. A man that used to be nonstop, never stop. A man that was once a hellhound, but a man who will always be known permanently as an OG to Sportswire Radio. His name is simply put, Dante. My friend, how are we doing?
I'm doing good, Tom. I've missed that introduction. Yeah, the Hellhound, not a name I've heard for a while, but
No,
it's good to hear.
some people that don't know you in this platform, you talked about obviously FAR gaming. I'm sure we'll talk CAR gaming. We'll definitely talk about that. But I know you from when you were training out there, for Nonstop, Never Stop, NSAW. You were out there, in the Be Strong Performance Center there, way back there,
Definitely a different time.
in Swenton. And, that's a long time ago. And that's how I remember you. I remember you as the Hellhound Dante Okara with that whole roster of NSAW was almost like our version of Beverly Hills 90210. We could go back and look at like who made it, who didn't, and that's what I know you as. I mean, some people like I see Steven Storm, man, I know very well. They're gonna know you as somebody from CAR and your own company FAR Gaming, but I mean that's what I remember you. I remember you as the Hellhound.
Yeah, Steven knows me as Dante Okara. He doesn't. Yeah.
Doesn't know you from NSAW. That's
he didn't
a
know
long
me from
time
NSAW.
ago.
No, he's only just recently found out I did NSAW.
You know what? I gotta say, I know people here. They're gonna come in and out. I'm sure over the next little while. I can't believe it's been that long ago. I mean, I remember. I think first having NSAW come onto Sportswire. I want to say 2021. I want to say like 3.5 years ago. I remember when a name that shall be named nameless reached out here about 3.5 years ago. Let's do this. Let's my company. I'm starting it up, and and it led to you and everybody else from NSAR on. I mean, it was just
it was a very different time. I keep in touch with a lot of the guys, well, some of the guys from that time, but yeah, life gets in the way.
Who are some of the people that you keep in touch with from NSAR? I'd be curious because you wrestled a lot of people in NSAR.
Well,
I almost have to say, who do you keep up with?
From time to time, I still keep in touch with the main man himself.
Okay, Mr. Snow. Yeah. A man who I don't have much affinity for, but go ahead.
I keep in touch with Mr. Snow. From time to time, I keep in touch with Connor Cage.
Okay, Connor was definitely one of my favorites. Connor was definitely somebody that...
Connor's a really chill dude.
Everybody loved Connor. Connor was one of the,
Sammy Blue, I guess I talk to him every so often.
Sammy was the one I really think if I would have put the money on the NSAW days of all the people I think that probably did the best, I think it would be Sammy Blue. I think Sammy definitely was the one. Wrestle Island, TNT. I mean,
the dude wrestled Martin Kirby. He was like,
and he was in the ring with RPD. I mean, how about that?
I didn't see that one.
He was in a Rumble with RPD. I don't know if it was last year or a year and a half ago, but he was in there with him. Yeah, I mean, Sammy Blue was the one that just. Sammy was no drama. Sammy was like, I just want to go out there and I want to wrestle. I mean,
Sammy was a really fun guy.
Sammy was cool. Sammy was on here a lot those years. He was here several times. Love Sammy.
And I keep in touch with Tommy Dillon.
Tommy was another one that, to be honest, not much of a fan of, but he was another one that, certainly had his, opinions. But no, look, it's a long time ago now. I mean, I don't really hold a grudge. I mean, it's what it was. But, but it's a lot of people are going to wonder, I guess, then. So for those that are listening and watching here on prime time, on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform where all wrestling matters, the platform you technically built, Mr. Okara. So what have you been up to since the last I spoke to you, which was 2.5 years ago, summer 2022 on this platform? What on God's green earth are you up to?
A lot's happened since then. I did a small independent horror film whilst I was still in the UK.
Okay. You moved what? Last year you moved?
I moved here around April?
Last year, 10 months ago.
Yeah, mid-April.
Yeah.
We're approaching a year of me being here now.
Congratulations.
And that'll be April 18th. Thank you.
Congratulations. Right after tax day here in America. I'm sure you've gotten used to that now, right?
I have. It took me a while to get used to taxes. What else have I done?
I actually have something that you've done, and I put it up here right for the chat here. FAR Gaming. I mean, tell me what FAR Gaming is. I mean, I know Steven's going to know about it.
FAW Gaming.
Yeah. You want to bring the missus on? You want to have the missus say hello?
You want to say hello?
Sure.
Bring her on. So obviously we know that Mr. Okara is hitting way above his pay grade, right? No, I'm only kidding. It's great to meet you, by the way. I've seen you on Facebook, and by the way, God bless you. I know you're expecting. Congratulations, you're building
Thank
a
you.
family, building a wrestling family. I mean, you've tolerated Mr. Okara in his wrestling career, I'm sure.
I'm going.
He
I'm
has
going
to
to teach.
tolerate me too. So
I'm going
it's
to
Well,
teach
you
him
know
the
what? I
wrestling.
mean, he came to America. Forget about Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy coming to America. Dante Okara, but I'm sure you knew the joke from years ago, but he always sounded like he was from America. That was the joke when he used to come on here.
Yep.
I used to interview him. Of all the bunch from Enso and all the British wrestlers used to come on the platform, he was the one that had no accent. I think this was a topic on one of the shows. I know this came up. We talked about this. You were like the one guy, like, I don't know how you didn't have an accent all those years.
It did.
I'm to blame.
J-Ro was the first one to point it out.
You were like, when you come, I would have to hear some of the guys, and like I'd have to put I got used to it over time, but there were certain guys that you come on and go, okay, all right, I got it. I think I figured it out. But you were one of the ones that was neutral. You had you had no accent. You probably spoke the English language better than I do.
Yeah, J-Ro were the first one to point that out. They were like, 1 minute Dante's Scottish, the next he's American.
Well, you are technically an American now, and I'm sure eventually you'll get your American citizenship. So, I mean,
we're getting that.
Well, you'll get there. It's so tell me what you see FAR Gaming. Are you playing in FAR Gaming too, Mrs. Okara, or what?
He's got me in there as a character or two, but I'm not into it as much as he is.
No.
Yeah, FAW Gaming. It's really all a big community. It's not just myself. It's my brother and a few other friends.
I just help maintain the drama.
Yeah.
What else is new? What wrestling and drama? Nah, don't know anything about it.
We start off within the CAW community, and now we just branch out everywhere, play a bunch of different games. We're not really looking towards it as a living. We just a bunch of friends gaming.
Well, it's fun, and I mean, I don't remember. Were you into gaming? Actually, you were into gaming when you were in Enso, because I remember you were playing. I was.
A lot more than I am now.
Really? I would have thought you would have been more into gaming.
Oh no, it was more of an escape. But I don't really have anything to escape now, so.
Well, yeah, you don't, because you got the misses right there. So if you say anything bad about that, you'll be going back to the Be Strong Performance Center.
That's it.
The only difference is there's nobody there.
I gamed too a lot with him because I was also escaping. So I mean, I'm part.
Is that how you guys bonded? Was gaming? I mean, I feel like is that how it all? It all started. I mean, what was the thing they used to say? First comes love, then comes the baby carriage, or something like that.
Yeah, we're on the way there.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything for the chat, but it's wild. I mean, but you were always into it. And thank you to the Mrs. She's busy. She doesn't want to be here all night, but she could be here if she wants to. But I mean, you gamed a lot in Enso, and you game less now. I would have thought you would have gamed more because you're not in Enso.
That's true. It's now I like to think I've matured a lot now, and I prioritize things a lot better now.
Well, think about it this, you all were what, 19, 20, 21. Lawman was a couple years older. I mean, some of you were Tommy Dillon, objectively speaking, was he was the veteran. I mean, he was he was the veteran. It was by far, he was the guy that was the father to all of you. I remember in that era,
Yeah, it's
him and LRB. Remember LRB as tag partner?
I do. Tommy was really the father figure to a lot of us back then.
For sure. He was the one that he had the experience. He was the one that had been there in the ring and
exactly. But now it's now the mindset I'm in. It's I'm 26 now, Tom. I've got to grow up.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You're 20. What did I say? 21, 22. So when I first connected with you guys, we're talking summer 21. So that would have been 22, 23.
I would have been 22, 23. Yeah.
All right. It's a big difference. It's a life, change. From 22.
It is. We've all got to grow up sometime.
I still haven't grown up though.
You still got the glorious mutton chops.
Well, that's for now. No, I mean, but so do you look back on those days and do you miss anything about being in the ring? And do you miss those days?
Sometimes I do. I miss the adrenaline and the rush, just the feeling you get from being in the ring. It was a good outlet. And at times, there's still times today where I think, I could still probably be really good at that. And it's just finding the time to do everything now.
It's hard, especially the time, because you guys would all go there. Was it Saturday mornings? You guys would
Saturdays,
all be there? Saturday mornings. You'd have to get there, set the building up.
Yeah, I'd be there at ridiculous times.
Was it 7 in the morning? I remember when the Lawman did the vlogs. It was like 7 in the morning, right? You guys had to be there, right? 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, Kyle liked to set off at like 7 in the morning. But by the time he would start his vlogs at 7, I would usually be there by 6:30. And
okay, so you were there earlier than him.
Yeah, I was ridiculously committed to the project, and
it was hard. You guys were all. It did kind of. You all wanted to be something. It was Champ Rogers, the Super Dad. Champ. I think had a little bit of experience. There was Gung Ho Muttley, who left.
Gung Ho Muttley's great. He still
Gung Ho was there. Yep, Gung Ho did the movies. You had Gung Ho. I mean, he was a part of it. We talked about Connor. LRB was there briefly. Disciple was the champion. Disciple was brought in. I mean, Jenny obviously got involved. Jenny, who is obviously the other half of Mr. Snow, and I mean, you guys were a big group. I mean, it was a big group. I mean, it was Goliath. Goliath, remember Goliath?
I do. I remember Goliath. It was a big group. I know a lot of the guys that was there in the early days, like Goliath. They went. They took a step back and went back to backyard wrestling.
Yeah, Goliath had the match with Gareth Angel. He had the match with Gareth Angel, and then that was that. He had the match with Angel, and he was kind of even Connor. I don't know. I don't think Connor has done anything in a while because
I honestly would not know from Connor. Thank you. I honestly would not know with Connor.
You definitely hit above your pay grade. You actually have your other half giving you water on the air. People want to waterboard me to get me off the air. You've got somebody giving you water. But yeah, I mean, a lot of them, I could see a lot of them taking a step back. LRB left in the very beginning. Connor, I think. Yep.
I know Disciple took a step back for a while.
Disciple, yes, I speak to him from time to time. He just friended me back on Instagram. Yeah,
I think he came back recently.
Yes, he had a match with Gareth Angel late last year. I think he had another match with him. Makes sense.
It was really a different time, and
I'm gonna make
a different place in life.
I want to make you laugh. I mean, you want to laugh? This is for some people here in the chat. I pulled something up here. Hold on here. Let's pull it up here. But I got it. I actually got it here. I got it. There we go. There you go. Where we were.
Oh boy.
There we were. There we were. Here we go. There we were.
Oh, look at long hair Dante.
Yeah, you were there. You were here, and it was that.
I know now I've got a beard.
Okay, so I'm a little bit behind. It was July 13th, 2020. I thought it was 2022, but it was actually, you were here a year and a half ago. So that we time mark it. There I was. I think I look the same. I think I look the same, but there you are. Different. Your lighting's better, and we're talking about the past, and there we were.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not working off a crappy phone anymore.
Well, that's good. Well, you improved. You definitely you've definitely improved. And there we were, a year and a half ago. That was the last time you were here. That was the last time you were here on Sportswire. There you were.
It feels good to be back.
It's welcome back unexpectedly. I mean, we'll get to the chat in a few minutes. I mean, so you're obviously in America now. And how are you liking the transition from America?
Well, the area I lived in the UK, so the Sheffield area, with the area I live now, in Macon, in Georgia, it's pretty similar.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just the only issue I'm really having is these guys do not believe in sidewalks.
Well,
I hate that.
Dirt roads, huh?
Not even that.
Oh my goodness.
Because I live just off the highway, so it's just.
Oh my God!
I'm taking my life into my hands every time I cross the street.
Well, that reminds me of I had a family friend. Years ago as a kid, we moved him to New Jersey and it looked like an episode of The Sopranos. It was like, I think that's where Hoffa was buried. Wow. So, you're in Macon, Georgia, and I mean, you're saying it's almost similar to where you were, except no roads.
It's very similar to Sheffield, especially downtown Macon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the community here, I love it. They're really nice people. And I'm just living life now.
So what are your goals then for this year? What are your goals in anything? What are your goals for the? I've been asking everybody this question, like, what is your goals?
Well, my goals now is obviously get myself settled and everything over here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously get citizenship sorted and everything. Get myself working again. And once I'm settled with absolutely everything, further down the line, there's a training facility about 5 to 15 minutes down the road in Gray. I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
I'll take your word for it.
I think it's Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm looking to. I follow them online. I've emailed them, and I'm looking to get back there.
Well, you are probably talking to different wrestlers here on the platform that are probably listening to this. So, I mean, obviously you've got the desire to go back out there in the ring.
Yeah, I've got the desire to get back out there, but I want to get my priorities sorted first.
You miss it being in the ring?
I do. I really do. Like, I could lie to you, Tom, and say...
You could lie. We're live. It's okay. You can lie.
Yeah.
Nobody will hear it.
I could lie to you and say, no. It's like, I've done my bit. I've had my time and everything, but... No, the truth is...
You're young. You're 26. You know what? I hear people say, oh, I'm going to retire. Yeah, I'm done. You're 26, 28, I hear. Come on. You're not... Life is just starting, and I'm hearing people like all the time say, yeah, I'm almost done, and I'm not doing anything.
The truth is, I really do miss it at times. And at times I think...
Can I jump in real quick?
Sure.
I just want to put on record that I have actively encouraged him to join these places, and he constantly tells me, nah.
Well, you know what? I suggest, now I know Mrs. Okara. I let me make a suggestion. Okay? I know nothing. I've only had these guys, Rhino and Savio Vega, on in the last week. We just had on this guy, Sam El Jami, who was in a segment with Mustafa Ali, whatever you want to call him at this point, and Elias. And I would say maybe you should be his manager. Maybe you should go out there with him. We see it all the time. I mean, I think you'd obviously, get some engagements for him. You get some interest in it. Maybe you obviously can talk. You seem like you're more the go-getter than he is. You've obviously got the ability. You're a looker naturally. I have no doubt that if you went out there with him, wherever he may desire to go, I'm sure that a package, we see it all the time. I mean, listen, it's a who's who of people. I mean, we've seen they go out there. Stephanie and Triple H, we've seen. I mean, we've seen. Yes, there you go. Stole the words right out of my mouth. I mean, Kurt Angle and
we had Mike and Maria Kanellis.
There you go. It's a list of people. I mean, the list goes long. List of Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. I mean, we've seen just. You can keep going down in wrestling history. The Hardys, Leader in the Hardys, Leader in Edge. I mean, Leader in Kane. Leader was pretty much with everybody. Let's not even go there. But the point is that, it's a long list of AJ Lee and, Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. I mean, so maybe that's where, I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. She's obviously already just, speaking for you. And, she's obviously, can be out there. And I'm sure people would be happy to see her.
It's definitely something to think about.
I think you're onto something.
I know I'm onto something. Rhino and Savio Vega came, and by the way, I didn't have to pay 1 penny for them. They wanted to be here. No, they legitimately. There was a movement that people wanted Rhino to be here. We got like 60 something likes on Facebook. Savio Vega, the guy that wrestled him, Stud Bronson, was like, "You think you want to interview Savio Vega? I think you're ready." I said, "Yeah, I think I'm ready. What do you think?" He's like, "Well, I'm the one that's suggesting it." So I mean, yeah, I think with the message there, you'd be a package deal. Maybe there'll be some places. I even see one of my friends is suggesting a place for you to go to.
Definitely. It's definitely something I'll be more than happy to look into.
I'll be your Paul Heyman.
Yeah, you be my Paul Heyman.
You got a lot more hair than Paul Heyman. You look a lot better than Paul Heyman. And, I think you'd obviously more people would want to see you out there rather than Paul Heyman.
Yeah. I think it'd be cruel for me to keep Dante Okara away from American audiences. So yeah.
You saying you're going back to the UK?
Never say never.
Well, I mean, the British independent wrestling scene's not very good at the moment. I mean, there's very little. I mean,
like the British independent wrestling scene has its moments, but
it's very up and down.
I will admit, really, if you really want to get into the independent scene, America is the place to be.
I think right now, but I'll say it when I covered you when you were wrestling active. I believed more in the British independent wrestling because that was what was coming on. You remember, all I had on was British independent wrestling. That was all that was here for all those years, 2021, 2022. That was all that was here. So to me, at that time, I would have said, yeah, British independent wrestling, that's where I would have went. But at this point, the scene's it's ups and downs.
Both sides of the pond have their moments.
They do. They do. And, speaking of moments that you had here on this platform, you missed the hair.
I know. I know. The blonde hair.
You missed the hair? I mean...
the blonde hair, the no hair at the sides. And yeah.
You look younger now. You look younger now. You look older.
Oh, jeez. I hated it so much.
Well, I could see it. I mean, what were you thinking?
I wasn't. That's the only thing I can say. I wasn't thinking at the time.
Well, you're thinking now. You obviously,
Yeah,
you got
like I guess at the time, I was obviously I used Enso as an escape from my life because
I remember on Facebook you did have some issues back home. I remember that. Yeah,
I was in a really bad place at the time, but now I'm over here. I'm taking care of myself. The wifey is taking care of me.
I could clearly see that. Obviously, you definitely are way above your pay grade. I mean, there's no question about that. But no, trust me, I'm one to talk. But no, seriously though. I mean, you look like you're doing well. You obviously got a good head on your shoulders. And this was what I was referring to. Now, this was July 18th, 2022. This was July 18th, 2022. So we're talking 2.5 years ago. I mean, this was the first time you came on here. This was the first time. This was like, I think by then I'd been covering NSOR for like 8 or 9 months. You were like one of the last people from NSOR to come on because they all came on by that point, Tommy was here.
I had a lot of heat with a lot of people back then.
Well, NSOR had a lot of heat with a lot of people. If we're gonna go really down the road, I mean, not really is there any point of it, but NSOR there was just like drama. There was always somebody had drama with NSOR. There was something went in there, and it was just, but it was a big part of my platform going back, all those years. It was like, that was a big part of I remember like every afternoon, I remember like arranging my schedule. Okay, who's on from NSOR? I got to make sure because you know what? NSOR would poll on Facebook, would poll the views. That was what polled me people to tune in. So I looked at it like, okay, you know what? They've been loyal. They've been great. Whatever I can do, and there you were with blonde hair.
There was like you said, there was always something going on behind the scenes with NSOR. There was always someone rubbing someone else the wrong way in the business.
It was,
There was a lot of backstabbing and politics behind the scenes.
Oh, well, what else is new? I mean, that's like anything else. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, unfortunately, that's how it goes. I mean,
with Ensor, it holds a special place to me because
I mean, too. You know what?
honestly,
I think a lot of the good. There was good.
there was a lot of good. It's where I got my start.
Yeah, agreed.
But with Ensor, if you want to go anywhere, it really all depended on who you knew and who you was friends with.
Yeah, I feel like as we hear with Dante Okara, the man who was the Hellhound, but obviously he's not the Hellhound at the moment. Maybe he is permanently. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Your voice, figuratively and literally, we're all wrestling mouths. I'll get to the chat. I want to plug a buddy of mine's got a show coming up tomorrow, and if I don't plug him, I'm gonna hear it. And even though I know he's not, he's not tuned into my show, but I got to make sure. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna put it on Instagram. Make sure I get that clip up. Even though, like, I don't think anybody's gonna come from Pennsylvania or Georgia to watch his band play in New Jersey, but we'll put the clip up there for a few minutes there with him. But yeah, I do think there was a lot of good in Enzo. I mean, I always believe that, when the dust settles and there was certainly problems, I had some issues, there a bit with obviously, certain people, but I think by and large, there was a lot of good in Enzo. I mean, I think of the good there was, and I think, yeah, was there a lot of people that, maybe didn't amount to as much? Was there drama, politics? Yes. I mean, but you guys were young running shows when you didn't have much experience. Think about that,
We were young, we were dumb. A lot of us had a problem with living the gimmick.
Yeah, it was tough.
Which sucked.
The Lawman came on here, and he's a totally different man. He's a totally, he's stripped it all down. He's learning from Sheik El Sham, and he's like the guy that, we talked about it. Maybe it was too much too soon. That does happen in wrestling.
It's good to hear. Kyle's doing better now.
Yep. Looks great.
Enzo, I don't think Enzo really did him any good mentally.
I think he got into, he talked about it here. He was in a lot of main events and a lot of, big place. We're pushing him everywhere. And, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was too soon. Like I said, CCW, then it was GT Ministries with Garrett Angel, and then it was Slugger Hampton, and it was, every place, he was going to, and then, it came crashing down, unfortunately, and it was, guy didn't have, I think now he'll be ready if he gets that opportunity.
He had talent.
He had charisma. He could talk. He was, I think, of all the people that came on here from the group, he was by far the best talker. He would come, he was Mr. Sportswire. He would come on here and oh my goodness, he could hold serve. He could go toe to toe with those veterans.
He was great. I can tell you from being there the day his winning streak ended.
Yep.
When he got behind the scenes, something seemed off about him. He didn't seem like himself. It could be because he just had a really big match, or it could be something was playing with his mental state.
Sure.
But something came crashing down, and I think Kyle was one of the guys that he was, like you said, he was very skilled, but I think at the time he was one of the guys that had to learn sometimes to win you have to lose.
And that I think that just you guys were all put in a situation, and it was what it was. I mean, it was just, unfortunately, it was what it was. I mean, guys were not ready. They didn't. It's like anything else you put in the fire.
It's like you said, we was all very young, and yeah.
It was what it was. I mean, I figured I'd put a match on here and, talk about it with you,
This match is actually the first video on the FAW Gaming YouTube channel.
Really? I should pull it up from there, but I pulled it up on the end. So we'll plug the FAR page. I do have some people here in the chat. So, but yeah, I mean, I remember I loved watching Enzo. I have to admit, I loved going on YouTube. You know what I would do when the videos when I would get the link sometimes, I would get a link, I love sitting at like 1 o'clock in the morning, my time, and sit before I take a nap for an hour and a half. And I would sit with my meal and watch you guys wrestle. I really enjoyed it. I really
You
enjoyed
can see my nerves play up there.
I could see, well, yeah, I could see that, but that's why you're hopefully less nervous here. But
I am,
yeah,
yeah.
you were there, and it was a lot of work to get to that moment. It was a lot of work to get there.
It was definitely a lot of work. Obviously, it was the very first match of the very first show. That played on nerves a lot. That explains why I tripped again on the ropes. And you saw during the entrance, I teased the feud with Sammy that I had.
Yep.
That match with Sammy was fun. Sammy's a great guy to work with.
Sammy was one of he was somebody I rooted for. Sammy was just
Sammy and Connor were the guys to work with.
Connor was the Golden Boy. Remember the Golden Boy, Connor Cage, and all that, the feud with Kennedy, and
not enough people give me credit, but I'm actually the one that gave Connor the name Golden Boy in a promo.
Remember, Disciple and him had a feud. I mean, Connor Connor had the look. Connor should have been like Rey Mysterio for you guys.
Connor was great.
He was.
Always up to work with anyone and down to do anything.
He was easygoing. The only problem he had was that his talking skills weren't like the lawman's, but in the ring he looked so good.
He wasn't good on the mic at all, but
he had the look. His look was mic,
but
his look was just like, he was just, but you guys were there, and it was like you guys had the look. There's no question that the look was there, and it was just. I kind of miss it in some ways. There was something. A lot of people would say, "Oh, you got Ensor on Sportswire. Oh, Ensor's on," but there was something that like. Yeah, well, it was 2.5 years ago, but there was something you guys had some passion, you guys had some energy. It was you could feel something was there. I mean, unfortunately, it didn't add up to much in the long run, but there was something with me and the platform also, because, I think at the time, I'm in it, for a little while, wrestling was starting to carry me, and you guys were a part of that. I think that there's no question. Yes, I did university athletics. I did regular American sports, but it didn't have the same feel. And, Ensor was a big player in me getting a footing to get to Rhino and Savio Vega and all these big names, because you guys were on every week. Every week, Sportswire, you guys were here.
Definitely onto something.
You were there. It was
I just think it wasn't handled the right way.
Because you guys were all, because you guys were youth. It's immaturity. It's you don't have, if you don't have the backing, you don't have the experience. That's what happened. It's, it's unfortunately, it's, part of life. You only get one shot, and financially, it's hard to do a company and make money. You're not selling tickets really. The time you guys are putting in it, it's a lot. It's just not. It's not easy.
There was a lot of backstage politicking. A lot of people screwing people over.
Because it's people, it's unfortunately wrestling. But from a talent aspect, guys were there. There were guys, and I think it lives on with Sammy. I think Sammy having the success, it lives on. Callum Jakester's still out there. You see him, doing well. I think Champ Rogers I've seen recently back out there. You see him. The Lawman's attempting. The Lawman's attempting a comeback, and he's very well known. I mean, so it still lives on.
One.
What's that?
Dan Robertson and Killjoy. He's
another one. Yeah, Dan Robertson was the theater guy. Dan Robertson was the other guy. He and Kennedy had the the feud. The kind of weird feud thing there with the society, and that was Killjoy could talk. Killjoy.
Yeah, seeing all the stuff Killjoy has done recently, I'm actually really proud of him. He's really come into his own now, and
Killjoy, he wanted it. Killjoy wanted it. He was another one of those guys that he was another one of those guys that wrestled outside of Ensor. You saw him, in different places, and he had the famous segment with Jack Johnson and Gareth Angel. I mean, he was like, he wanted it. He was another one, but he had a theater background. So for him, it was a matter of the ring. So like, it goes to my point there. It still lives on. There are definitely, Ensor talents that it lives on with, some of the later talents, that came in from Wrestling Appreciation Society. They're hanging around still, Sammy Rice and the Phantom, and there's still some of them. Some of them are still around. So it lives on. I feel like it lives on.
That's true. There's areas of Ensor still out there on the UK scene.
Yep.
And I could sit here and be salty and be vindictive and be like, oh, none of them really deserve the spot they've got because they didn't earn it. But truth be told, they all earned their spot.
No, I think, you know what? I
they
think
showed dedication by staying at it and getting better.
But you know what? Look at you. You know what? You're at a better place. And like, you just, sometimes things happen for a reason. Maybe now if you decide to come back, if that's something you want to do here, maybe you'll be in a better place. And it just, sometimes, listen, things don't work out. You can't dwell on the past. You can only go forward. Whatever happened, it's water under the bridge. I mean, there's just water that it's there and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't change the past. You can only learn from it. And I feel like there's still a lot of good that came from Ensor. There was a lot of, old school MC2. Remember him? He was, he's still out there doing announcing, and there was still a lot of talents there. And even in this match, you could see from some of the ring psychology, some of the athleticism. There was potential. There was potential here in this match. You could see it. You had something there.
I guess I was just always really good at getting people to hate me.
Well, I mean, that's some people. They have a natural look, and not everybody can be a good guy. But you had the look. I think that's what I always remembered about you, is that you did have the look. And I remember, like, when people talked about you, like, you had the look. You had a good body. It was just a matter of like putting it all together. And I think at times you did. At times you did put it together. But Ensor, it's what it is. You can only, learn from the past, but we're watching from the past. And,
right. Things that happened with the Swarm with JPR.
Yep. JPR was the guy that I was supposed to have had on twice, and then he canceled both times.
I'll always be grateful for what JPR taught me.
Hey, he was a world champion. You can't say anything about UKW world champion. He was definitely, he was a player. To have JPR was a part of it, and you learned a lot from JPR.
Exactly. If it wasn't for things that I learned from JPR, I don't think I would have ever got that win over J-Ro.
Yep, he was a former world champion in his own right.
He is. J-Ro, speaking of J-Ro's, just another guy.
J-Ro Lewis. Yep. Well, J-Ro was one of the guys like Tommy Dillon that was accomplished before Ensor. He was an
accomplished name. He knew what he was doing. He was very outspoken at times.
Yeah, he was. He was certainly outspoken, but I've been outspoken a bunch of times. But you know what? Look, I mean, there were talents, that came in and out of Ensor. I think it was Slugger Hampton and what was it? DB, was it DB Riley? Was it?
Yes.
They were there. They came in. Disciple was the champion. LRB was there at the beginning.
We had Rex Savage.
What's that?
We had Rex Savage.
Yes, I forgot about Rex Savage. Thank you for reminding me. Rex, it's been so long. Rex Savage was a part of it. Joel Cobra and Dave Douglas were there for a stint too, right? Joe Cobra's still out there. I mean, Joe Cobra's. You had what's his name? Champagne Charlie and the Nomad Dalton Garrett. I mean, that was a famous thing with Killjoy. So there were guys that they were in and out. Young Horace was in and out. There was and so what Ensor did well was it did network. There was like they reached out to people. I mean,
it did really well with networking.
Yes. And a lot of that was born here, by the way. I want to say a lot of that was from here, because we were getting, Disciple was here all the time. Gareth was here. We had, Slugger and was here. And, there was a lot of them that were here coming on. I mean, there was a lot of that, it was natural to see. It was fun. I loved it. I loved seeing, all the stuff that you guys did.
It was a fun time. It had its moments, but end of the day, sometimes I still like to think, and so was just a big dysfunctional family.
Like it. What family is it?
You're right.
What family isn't? And I do miss it. I wish that it would have ended differently, but I look at the good times. There was a lot of good times. So many of you all came here. We had some memorable segments. I remember one segment that I was supposed to have done. I think it was with Kyle Kennedy. I think it was with Kyle Kennedy. It might have been Champ Rogers and Connor Cage or some combination. And my internet, for whatever reason, blew out that day. And I had to do it on my phone. And it was like, really, it was like, I got to do it. It's Enso. I remember my mother at the time really wasn't didn't really get me doing this, but now she does because the people they have come on the platform. But it was like the podcast. It was like she it was like a feeling like this freaking podcast takes up so much consumption. But it was like I had to figure out how to download StreamYard and do the interview. We did it. It was like I couldn't do my usual, but we did it. But it was like it was like okay, Enso's. I can't cancel Enso. It was always like. That's how it was, Enso and CCW. CCW still comes on here, but but Enso was like,
It was a very interesting time.
It was fun.
You mentioned the WAS guys,
Wrestling Appreciation Society. Yes, yep.
I know Phantom's still doing really well.
Phantom is still. I mentioned him.
Aaron Carter, he's still doing really well.
Yeah, Owen Carter was on here a few times. Owen used to, be big on the platform, and I think went to some other places.
They're both now in FCW.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
And they're doing really good there.
Yep. I'm not going there with FCW, but some issues there. But I did see that. I wish him well. No, it was.
Yeah, they're doing really good there. Owen is really coming to his own now.
Phantom really was an important person to team up with Owen because he could talk a little bit, which gave Owen that like viability, which really helped.
I know. Owen and Phantom. We had a story with the Swarm for them. Planned.
Yes, I remember that.
But obviously, things happened.
Yeah.
People lost interest. They backed out, and it never came about, which is a shame because that's just one story I would have loved to do.
Well, when the company you were starting to move up, and then there was the problems that started to happen, which was in the fall of 2023. Because we did the timestamp. You were here summer, and a few months later, Enso was having problems, which led to. Yeah, but you know what? Let me get to some people here in the chat. Let me do that here first. Let me give a plug because I got to give a plug to a buddy of mine. Because if I don't do it, I'm going to have an issue, which is very important. I got to give a plug to my buddy Anthony Finkel. He's got a gig here coming up with his band Rust Eater. I believe it's their first gig coming up here. Congratulations to the guys. They're playing in Kearney, New Jersey, which I don't even exactly know where exactly Kearney is to me, but they're playing Jimmy's Lounge. It'll be taking place this Friday. Congratulations to the boys. They got 3 shows coming up here. They got 3 shows. They are the rusty ones. They're not going to be rusty after playing these 3 shows. They got Jimmy's Lounge. They got the Seven Crest and Teaneck. Now, Teaneck I know very well, and they're in Long Island City in Queens. They're at the El Bunker del Diablo. And the guys have been doing a great job. Anthony Finkel is on bass for the band, and they got a great lineup. And they're on also TikTok. They're on Instagram. You can check out some of their music. I play it here via the Listen Live button on sportswireradio.org. And they're an exciting band. If you want to check them out, give them a follow. Definitely, we're going to put this up here after I'm off the air to support the guys. And the guys are definitely an up-and-coming band here in New York City, and they're from Brooklyn. They're from my neck of the woods, so got to support those that support us. Anthony Finkel's been a good friend of mine for 10 years now. He's always been there for us, always been a supporter, and he's been in my chat more times than I can count, especially the old days. As a matter of fact, speaking of Enso days here, Dante Okara, Anthony Finkel used to always show up on the Facebook Lives. Every time I'd have an Enso show, Anthony Finkel was on the Facebook Live. He loved Kyle Kennedy. He loved Connick. He was a big fan of yours. I mean, he loved all the Ensaws. He would always talk to me about Ensaw. He was one of the guys that, like on YouTube, maybe he doesn't always see me all the time, but on Facebook, he loved Ensaw stuff. But he's got a band. Like I said, it's Rust Eater is the band's link on Instagram. Check them out on TikTok. Like I said, got 3 shows. The first one starts in congratulations here. It's going to start place technically today, which is Jimmy's Lounge in Kearney, New Jersey, 7 Crest next Friday, and then next Saturday after that, El Diablo in Long Island City, New York. And if you want to follow Rust Eater, you can check them out here. And I'm going to put the link up for everybody to go follow them. And if you want to see some stuff there, they're in the studio, they're kicking back and playing some music. They're, I would say, kind of more of like a metal, maybe like a hardcore, almost metalcore type band. I would definitely say in that vein. Definitely got a little bit of like Lamb of God, Hatebreed vibe to them, more a little bit industrial. The guys are kicking it here in the studio. Their single Fester has been the one that's been definitely doing well for them. And this is their show coming up on the 15th, $15 a head. Where can you go out there and, go with that? It's a great deal. And check them out. And we definitely want to see them. And there they are at their first show coming up. And congratulations to the guys. And let's get to the chat. So thank you, Anthony, for your support. Chase Wakefield. And this guy's interesting because he's getting married. Now, he's getting married here coming up in August. He's got a wrestling wedding invitational taking place in Pennsylvania. I don't know how far you are from Pennsylvania necessarily, but
quite a while.
Then I won't ask you about going to his wedding invitation.
If it were closer, if it were closer, I'd do it.
You're actually the most honest one of every wrestler I've had on here that said, "Yeah, I want to go," and at least you said maybe next time. My buddy Ed Pizzo from Dually.com. He's trying to change the landscape as we know it is here. Thank you for that. And there is the man himself, Mr. Steven Storm, who's quite an accomplished backyard and underground wrestler. He's a part of your group, and what a small world. There he is, Steven Storm. Yeah. What do you want to say about him?
Steven is a great guy.
Love Steven Storm. I've had him on like 3 times on Sportzwire.
Yeah, like I said, Steven I met through the online community.
Yep.
Through the CAW community, and he's a really good guy. I've had some interesting conversations with Steven in the past.
I could see that. Yeah, totally. Yeah, Steven's a good dude, and I'll probably see Steven back on in the next few months. Zilla, who's our resident chatter, she is our super fan, would like to say nice to meet you. Hello to Ed, and hello to Chase Wakefield. My buddy Il Drago, who hosts the High Chief Talk Show. It's on here Sunday, February 16th, is in the house. And how you doing there, Mr. Il Drago? Yep, all wrestling does matter. We appreciate that. Mr. Darkron, let me give Darkron a little plug here. He's back next Friday night, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Definitely tune in to hear what he has to say. But he's got a YouTube channel, and he's closing in on the magic 1,000 subscriber milestone. In fact, he's so close, he's actually at 995 subscribers. So if you're here right now, do me a favor. Go out there, give him a sub. The guy is at 1,000 subscribers nearly. He's 5 away. So if you haven't yet hit a sub, go out there and sub for Darkron. He's almost there. And he might talk about his in-ring return coming up next Friday. Or if not, he'll be here anyway at 9 o'clock. So give him a follow. He was here earlier.
You got 2 subscribers here with me and the missus.
Well, there you go. That's God bless the UK and America. Chase Wakefield, yep, you're a true OG. Yep, you were one of the ones, like I said, people that are here now. You were back here, when we were on Facebook Lives in 2021 and 22 and 23, and you were one of the OGs. Ensor was one of those companies, Ensor and CCW and the LWF. I had KOW. Odyssey just came back with Rick Marcus. I don't know if you remember Rick Marcus or not. Rick was back. Okay, Rick was here. RPD is going to probably be back soon, winking a nod. I mean, so it's, nice to see and catch up with people. Yep, Dante, another community. There you go. Hello there. So, wow, I get to put a face to the name. How are you, Dante? Yeah, it's great. My buddy, this guy, from the promo world. I don't know if you're in the promo wrestling world, but
I've seen it on Instagram. I've gave them a follow.
Okay, Cool. He's here in the house. He's a man that's been here before. Yep. Hello. Let's follow Dante, by the way. Let's do that here right now. Let's pull up his YouTube channel. I got it right here for the audience. I'm going to do it again. And you got a couple more subs tonight. You actually got some more subs. So let's put some more subs out. Let's get you to 50 subs. We're at 46. You started at like 42. So you got 4 subs tonight. Congratulations. So you got that. So well, you know what? My guest on Sunday, we got 145 subs and got 6 more. We got them to 151. Taxes are not fun. Well, you'll be doing them this year. That's okay. My tax bill is going to be bigger than everybody's, and I'm not saying anything. Well, maybe Ed's, but he is subbed. There you go. Steven Storm says hello. Congratulations to the missus. Dante's on Instagram. Give him a follow. And where Chase lives in Pennsylvania, we have no sidewalks, so we can have no roundabouts. Good enough answer. He would also like to tell you that his company that he works for, Versus the World Wrestling in North Carolina, I don't know how far North Carolina is from you, does have some trained wrestlers. And
depending on what part of North Carolina it is, it could be 6 to 8 hour drive.
Yeah, but 6 to 8 hour drive, not far.
Okay, well, that sounds long to me. You know, I'm in New York. Anything over an hour is like, okay, I give up. I tap out. You know, my dad was funny. He was a driving instructor when he was alive. He worked Sundays in Long Island, which you think from where I live is like nothing. But it was like an hour and a half drive, and all he did was complain about it. So a 6-hour drive to guys like me is like, okay, I can't do it, but maybe it'll work for you guys. I'll connect you.
It's cool. I used to I used to jump on the train to go wrestle at places like about that distance. So
well, how long did it take you to get to Enso when you would go to training and be in the Be Strong Performance Center?
If it went by train, it took me like about 45 minutes.
All right, that wasn't that bad. If
it went by bus, it took me about an hour and a half.
That wasn't bad. All right, that's manageable. And I'll connect you to him. I'll connect you to him. He's a great guy. Also, plus we've had stars that have signed internationally. Be backstage. You can learn a thing or two. For example, Franco Varga. I've interviewed Franco Varga. Yes, I know Franco Varga. Yeah. I interviewed Franco Varga way back. I interviewed him before you even came on. This was like 2000.
I pay attention to the independent circuit all over the world right now.
Franco Varga is what
I've been looking into a lot of the American independent circuit, of course. And back home, names like Succubus.
Yes,
I know Succubus personally. We've known each other for a few years, and Succubus is great, and I am so proud of how far she's got in the professional world and the recognition she's got. She has really earned it.
How about Joe Hendry, right? Maybe Joe Hendry was in ICW.
Joe Hendry, whilst I was in Enso, Joe Hendry was one of the guys I would have loved to work. I would have loved to have a dream match with.
Yeah, he was there. He was from, ICW, and look at where he is now. I mean, Pete Dunne. Listen, Pete Dunne started in KOW. He was in KOW, and now he just wrestled Penta. I mean, like you just think about like all these people here. I mean, and look at where they were. Will Ospreay was in Backyard Wrestling. He was a Backyard Wrestling fan, and now look at Ospreay where he is. It's just amazing the talent that we have in the independents. Dean Allmark came on to Sportswire. Came on twice. Dean Allmark.
Look at Gunther.
Oh my goodness. He might be pound for pound the best wrestler in the world. I mean,
hands down. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's no AJ Styles, but he is so good.
In terms of like pound for pound, like
yeah, definitely.
AJ, unfortunately, I think Father Time is kind of caught up with him. Unfortunately,
Father Time is caught up with AJ, but AJ can still go without.
Oh, he can go, but unfortunately,
not like he used to.
Yeah, Mustafa Khan came on here. I had Mustafa Khan on, I think in May.
Mustafa Khan is a great dude.
What a legend. What a nice man he was. What a
I
nice
never got to work with him in the ring, but I knew him outside of the ring, and he's just the nicest guy.
He was, like no drama, no nonsense. And he just subbed to you. So you got another sub. There you go. I lived on the Long Island Railroad, Babylon to the Penn Station train. I took the E train to go back to work every day, 3 to 4 hours. Yeah. It's a lot. It sounds a lot, but, So
remember, folks, England's not that big.
Well, that's true too. So like what? So obviously we spoke. We talked about the old days. So like, what is next? What's
Well,
next?
next, I say before anything else, I just want to focus on being a good dad. We've got a baby coming up. We've got a baby on the way.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I want to be a good dad, good husband, and I'm slow. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm slowly working my way back into the independent wrestling circuit.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely going. I think I'm definitely going to take note of the advice of having the missus as my manager.
I think you know what that would add something to you. I really think the missus. She can talk. She's got some attitude. She's got some character. She's a
Definitely.
looker. I mean, like from a natural wrestling, from a sales aspect, you
I
have
think-
something. I mean, Joshua had it with Jenny.
He did.
Jenny
I
added
think
something. Objectively speaking, remember if did you know Two-Bit, who was big in the
Yes.
independent.
Yeah.
Two-Bit had Jenny, was his girlfriend. His was the Jennifer was the Rat Queen. I mean,
True.
she was a looker.
I definitely think when I go back, I'm gonna go back as the heel, as the bad guy, Dante.
You always were a heel. You can't go
Exactly.
back as a good guy. Oh, I'm the mellow yellow. No, you got to go back to what you were. You had that,
I
cockiness.
just feel so comfortable being the villain.
Well, because that's like who you were, and it's I think you had the look. You had a good body.
I tried the good guy act for a period of time in FCW.
When were you in Fire? When were you in
okay,
Firestone?
but it didn't feel like me, if that makes sense.
When were you in Firestone? Was that last year or 2023? I'm trying to remember. When were you in Firestar?
I believe it was last year, yeah, because I did a match with Remus Kane in Firestar a few days before flying out of.
Okay, so that was last year. Okay, so you were there last year. Okay, I wasn't watching then. I wasn't watching, but no. So you did that. Was that your last match? When was your last match?
That was my last match with Remus, yes.
And then you left. You win here, and then you haven't wrestled since.
I haven't wrestled since, so I've got a lot of ring rust to shake off.
What?
But as always, Tom, you know me. I'm willing to do the work.
No, I think if you want some, I mean, listen, the Lawman didn't think he was going to wrestle again. He was on here. What was it? Almost 2 years ago now, because that match was with Donnie was in 2020.
When he broke his arm, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, April. That was April. And he didn't think he was going to wrestle again, and now he's training. So, I mean, you can never really say never in this wrestling world. People can say it all the time.
That's true.
And you got 2 more subs. Mr. Kron just subbed to you. So, you sub to him, he subbed to you. So, you got some subs tonight. I always take care of my people, but I think you shake it off. I think you shake the cobwebs off if it's something you want to do. So it's been 10 months since you've wrestled, practically about 10 months.
It has, and in the community I'm in with Steven, because there are people in that community that want to get into this line of work in reality as well, and we've both told them it's not an easy transition. Having conditioning is one thing, but having conditioning to be in the ring is completely different.
100%.
A lot of people still believe coming off the ropes is just like an elastic band. No, they hurt a lot.
No, it's not. Listen. I mean, we just had on you were here for the chat. I just had on Skrill. I had all these guys on. Listen, it's not like a bouncing off a jump rope.
Yeah, it ain't ballet. Taking that first body slam, it's gonna knock the wind out of you, but you'll get used to it.
You know what? But you'll always be in pain. It's just a matter of adjusting to the pain. It's
exactly no pain, no gain.
I don't know how Martin Kirby does it. Martin Kirby wrestles like 300 matches. No, seriously, he wrestles like 300 matches a year. I don't, and he wrestled an Enzo, like you pointed out.
He did.
Wrestled Tammy.
He
I don't
wrestled
know how
also,
Martin Kirby does it.
he currently wrestles in FCW.
He wrestles. Martin Kirby wrestles everywhere. He literally. I don't know how he does it.
Martin is insane. He's an insane worker. Such a good dude. One of the
Martin
nicest
Kirby,
guys I've met.
unfortunately, he's one of those guys that I wish that I could interview, but he's one of these guys that's like doesn't do interviews. He's like, I don't do them. I won't do it because he's just, I'm a wrestler. I'm training. I'm figuring this is his job, and I do want to,
He's so dedicated to the craft. One of the nicest dudes I've met. You see stuff about him online. To all the viewers, I promise you, Martin Kirby's not really miserable in real life. He's a really nice dude.
Well, no, I spoke to no, he's not. I spoke to him once. There was somebody that was trying to get me. It was a promoter. I don't even know if he's still promoting anymore. And he wanted me to interview Martin Kirby. He's like, I think you'd be a great candidate. I'm like, all right. And I spoke with him. He was a nice guy, but he just is like, I don't really do podcasts because he's just wrestling like every day. He literally wrestles like, look, it was a great honor to have Allmark. Allmark was like, I don't know for the American audience, it resonated, but having Allmark for like those that were with me, like, in those early days in the UK, it did mean something, but like Allmark was a big deal. I do want to say hello to the Tribal Cheese, who's up at 4:55 in the morning. Yes, we're talking with Dante Okara, who's in America now. He lives in America. He's about to be a daddy, and he's not in the ring anymore.
I remember the old days with the Tribal Cheese.
Yes, the Tribal Cheese is here, and he hasn't been here in a while, but he's inching closer to his return. He's a big TikTok influencer now, and actually, he's really big on TikTok. In fact, he's so big on YouTube now, he's close to like 4,000 subscribers. I'm going to go out there and give him another plug, and he's here, and there we go. It's funny, Rick Marcus was here Monday. You're here now, all of a sudden, randomly. The Tribal Cheese is inching his way closer to returning. The Lawman was back a few months ago. So some of the OGs...
All those OGs, we're coming back, Tom. We're coming back.
You know what? Maybe it's time you guys take over, but you never know. But give the Tribal Cheese a follow. Just like give everybody a follow. Yeah,
we're proving to this new generation that we still got it.
You do. Yeah, you do. But yeah, I mean, Johnny Storm was another one. I think I spoke to Johnny Storm once. Johnny Storm's another one that like... Can't get him on. Sheik El Sham does want to come on. I have to fit the time in. The Lawman, to his credit, was like, you should speak to the Sheik El Sham, and he did. That's on me. The Sheik El Sham will come back. Will come on, but I have to go back and message him. But all right. Yeah. So I mean, like
I haven't spoken to the Lawman since, and so.
Well, he was really. I got to be honest. You would have thought like. We were going to do shoot time on Enso. No, honestly, was not at all. It was really like we move on, we go forward. And I think, like in the grand scheme of things, like, there was a lot of good. I mean, I don't think I would have connected with some people,
A lot of good came out of it. The Lawman, he's one of the guys I've not spoke to since then.
Yeah.
We had a bit of falling out quite a while before I came over here. But I'm happy. I hold no personal grudges against him, and I'm happy he's doing well.
Yeah, I look at it like this. You know what? I don't want to really, there's no drama here. I think there was a lot of
life's too short to be petty.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just attended a funeral for a guy who was a first responder here in America's drop dead. He just dropped dead. He literally just dropped dead. I'm there at the wake, and you don't know what to say to people. And just thank you, Tribal Cheese, and I appreciate it. Yes, tell me when. I'm available next week. You just have to give me a day, and we'll do it. But, yeah, there was a lot of, like I said, I think, you're always welcome here anytime. But I think, before we close in a few minutes, like, there was a lot of good. I do think, I always try to remember the good, and it was unfortunate. Things were what they were, but like by and large, like
the good outweighed the bad.
There was a lot of good. There was some fun wrestling. I loved covering Enso on Sportswire. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of good moments here on the platform. You always had Kyle Kennedy crashing a show. Champ Rogers. It was like we had fun. We had some fun. Yeah. I mean,
Champ is a great guy.
Champ had what a personality. He had a personality on
definitely.
The world's greatest fun. I loved talking to Sammy.
Sammy was always a fun
Remember
guy
Chris
to work
Murphy?
with.
There was Chris Murphy.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately,
Chris
Chris.
Murphy. Chris Murphy. I keep in touch with Chris.
I
sometimes.
liked Chris. Chris
Oh,
was
he's a good dude.
Chris is like the tribal cheese, though. He's known more for non-wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Way more known.
With Sammy, whenever you was working a match with Sammy, you knew you were gonna get some good laughs out of the match.
Sammy was like
Sammy always loved to have fun.
Sammy was like your Shawn Michaels almost.
Yeah.
And he was like that good. It was just like
he just had it.
Yes, he had something
he
about
still
him.
does.
Oh, he's the one that's wrestled in the larger independent companies in
exactly.
the UK.
I saw something on Instagram recently with Sammy 2 belts. And it's like I'm proud of him.
He wanted it though. Sammy was the guy. If I were to put everybody in NSAW together, he probably was the guy that, I think, put it all together. I think he
wanted it. He was one of the guys that wanted it and went out and got it.
He wanted it. He could talk. He had the ability. And I think he was the one guy that was going to, I would have said him and Kennedy would have been my two guys but Kennedy had the injury, but Sammy
was just really likable.
Yeah, exactly. Sammy was likable and Sammy wanted it. Like you said, he wanted it. You could just tell there were guys like that have come on my platform over the years and Sammy was that guy that wanted it. But you know what, we'll see what happens, but maybe hopefully you want to come back on the platform again.
I'm down to come back. I'm always down to come back and have a chat.
Good.
Tom.
Good. Well, you know what? You better. I mean, you better. Before we get to closing thoughts here, this was fun. Really nice to see you. Just basically, you popped in the chat. I mean, we hadn't spoken in a while, and you just popped up in. I'm gonna put you.
It's always good. It's always good to chat.
Yeah, it was great. This was great. It was nice.
It's always good to chat. As we were chatting to arrange this, I messaged a group chat. Steven is in, and I was like, "Yo, guys, your boy's gonna be on Sportswire for the first time in forever."
I can't believe it. It's been so long, and people, are seeing you for the first time, and it's great. I mean, I love things like this, and there's your wrestling, days, and there you are here. We're going to put your Instagram page up for that. You got another follow or two for that here. Do that and see where you are today and where you were. And, there you were. I did like it. Now your wrestling page, I remembered. I did like your wrestling post. And, there you were. And you had gold. I remember that from NSAW. And, and there you were. And you look good. And, the missus is obviously happy. And, the swarm, remember that. And, having a baby. And, there you were, and some great stuff. What's Jammy Dodgers? What am I missing here?
The Jammy Dodgers.
I liked it. I don't know why I liked. I did like that post. I don't know what I was liking.
A cookie in the UK.
Okay.
They're really big.
Well, the tribal cheese ones. I think it was a year or two ago. Sent me a package. It was a bunch of candies, and they were like. It was Cadbury. It was like a bunch of them. Some of them I ate and loved, and others I gave to my little niece and my mother. They liked it. It was a bunch of stuff. But what Jammy looks good. I could use a Jammy.
Yeah, Jammy Dodgers are really good. They're big. Wow. They're big. They're really big in the UK. And the missus found them while she was out shopping one day, and she grabbed them.
That's really cool. That's really, really cool, and that's. That's nice. I mean, you never know. I mean, maybe she likes the UK more than you do. Who knows? But
she loves the food over there.
Tell me real quick. You said you were a part of a horror film.
Yes. Hold on. Just let me pull up the picture for it.
And my buddy, Mr. Ross Galloway, says that RFK would not approve that UK candy. What was wrong with the UK candy, though? What was wrong with the candy? But, somebody didn't like the candy.
There are a lot of UK candies that are difficult to comprehend.
Oh.
And,
well... That's
I remember there's a lot of them that's still sold over here in the States. I remember seeing a lot of
Cadbury.
them.
The Cadburys are the most famous ones.
Cadbury's.
The
Like,
Cadburys.
I remember one time when the missus was at work, and I was at home. I went grocery shopping, and I called her while she was in the middle of work and told her I found Maltesers. And the base Maltesers are just little chocolate balls made of biscuit, and they are so good.
Wow. Well, the cat seems like they want it. You might want to give the cat some candy. Actually, don't give the cat some candy. But there was my moment with Rhino. Well, there was my moment with the War Machine.
I saw that.
What a moment. People still say, like, you really spoke to Rhino. Yeah, I think, Ross is in my chat. He knows me forever. The Tribal Cheese knows me. He's in the chat. I think people are like, you spoke to Rhino? I'm like, yeah. And he wanted to come on. I mean, I could screenshot the conversation. He wanted to be here. And he was here. It was like, I mean, Savio Vega was here, and the missus is here, by the way. Does the missus want to meet Rhino?
Remember the horror movie I did?
Yeah, talk about the horror movie,
Yeah.
and not this interview. Not this interview that was horrible, but the horror film you did.
You received it.
No,
You didn't do it?
Posters.
Posters. Oh.
Well, you know what? We can obviously always talk about this interview as a horrible interview.
Yeah, I was in a horror movie in September.
September of 23.
September 23.
You both were in the movie?
No, it was just me.
Oh, what do you mean? This is your manager. You didn't want your manager in the movie?
No, we wasn't a thing then.
Oh, well, that's because you were in Enso. That's why. When you left Enso, she became a thing. Oh no, probably.
Basically, I only had a small role.
Yeah.
I was doing it as a favor to a friend who was doing photography on the movie.
Was it Gung Ho? Because Gung Ho does movies.
No.
Was not Gung Ho?
We was, yeah, but we were still in early days.
Oh.
Well, early years.
8 months in.
Just agree with the miss. Whatever you do, just agree with her. Just agree with her, because you'll be sent back to the UK, and then you will really have to think about going back to Enso and recreating.
No, it wasn't with Gung Ho. It was with my friend Brandon.
Yeah, go ahead.
I only had a small minor role. That was going to turn into a bigger role. I basically had the role of an angry Scottish henchman.
Almost like your wrestling career. It was like when I covered you years ago in the UK. It was the same thing.
Exactly.
Nothing changed. You were just playing yourself.
Exactly. I'm just playing myself, wearing a hazmat suit, and almost a gas mask that made me look like Bane.
There's a rap song called "Give Him the Gas Face" from this group Third Date. And that's probably like what you could have probably played out there.
It was great.
Just give him the gas face. Woo! Kind of like the intro. I think.
If you look on my TikTok, there's a behind the scenes look at that, and it was so hot.
Do you want to do more movies? I'm
down for the opportunity. And I'll take any opportunity presented for me. But yeah, it was fun to do. I was basically just the angry henchman. My only job was originally grab a guy, drag him away. But because
you didn't need any training.
In the director's words, I did such a good job. My role got extended.
You didn't need any training for this role. Trust me.
Exactly. I just grabbed the dude and dragged him a bit too hard. I ended up throwing him, and the director just looked at me and went,
"Yeah,
we're giving you a bigger role."
He's the guy. We like him already. We like him.
Yep.
You should do more acting. One of the things I just did something like 2 months ago. I did a thing almost like for voiceover here in Manhattan. I got a job for about a month. It was one of the greatest jobs I ever did. I made like $100 like literally in an hour, and I did like 10 prompts, like voiceover prompts. And I've been trying to figure out, how do I get a SAG card? I really want to get a Screen Actors Guild card, and I don't know how to do it. But because I did this job, and they told me I had no acting experience, no training for it. And they were like, you were a complete natural. And I joked, well, I've been doing this for 6 years. I said, and this was, and by the way, this was right before Rhino and Savio Vega came on. So it was almost like I was trained for the moment. And Rhino said it was the best intro he's ever heard. And Savio Vega said, I can't believe you did that. And I was like, well, that's why I got to keep coming back on.
Well, it's one of those things. Gung Ho actually did approach me one time to do stunt work for his first movie.
Yes, I remember the first one. I remember that.
I was unable to do it due to prior engagement. No, I actually think I was injured at the time.
Oh, okay. I remember you were injured. I remember that.
Yeah, I was injured because I just had surgery on my leg.
Yes, I remember that. I think I actually remember you got injured. You had a knee injury. You were out for a while. You didn't go to training.
Which sucks because I would have loved to do that.
If Gung Ho's listening, hopefully he can do some international film work for you.
Hopefully.
And I do want to say hello to the YBW champion. Dominic is in the house. Dominic, who I am going to get back onto Sportzwire. He was definitely on the list. Let me give the Razor Instinct a hello. Let me give a bunch of people a hello because they're hanging out with us. So let me give Dom's YouTube channel a follow. Let me do that for the audience. I want to plug some people since, might as well. I ain't really going anywhere, but follow go ahead.
I've got to say, with the promo championship wrestling, the champions out there, they've got to watch out because they've not seen nothing until they see a Dante Okara promo.
Well, you know what? Are you implying that you want to be in promo wrestling? Are you implying?
Maybe.
Well, never say never. I mean, That's a freaking thing on this platform. But let me plug Dominic's YouTube updated profile pic. Yeah, I see it. Thank you, Captain. But Dom's on YouTube. Give him a follow. He's also on Twitch. I'm on Twitch, but I just don't really. I need to plug Twitch because I'm actually close to the 50 follower threshold, which gives me
three
platforms to get played for. Yeah, I think Twitch is good. But here's Dom's page. Yeah, give him to 100 subs. He's at 237. So let me give him the proper link. But there you go. Thank you, Dom. And Dom's link here. Don't doubt Dominic. He's the YBW champion, and he likes YouTube more. Yeah, I don't really like Twitch that much, to be honest. I don't know. I don't feel like my audience cares for Twitch, but Dom's on YouTube.
Twitch is fun, but YouTube is where it's at.
YouTube is best, and Ed wants us to do it on Dooley. Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe we'll do it on Dooley. Who knows? But Dooley.com. Let me give Dooley a plug before we go, because Eddie's always here, and Eddie's always trying to come up with big plans, and definitely those plans. Dooley, I'm going to tell you what Dooley is. That's a great segue. Maybe you should take over for me on Sportswire. But Dooley is a platform where basically we're going to have some different things. We're going to have a match. You're going to vote on who wins, a promo, whatever it might be. And Eddie's been working on this for ages. We're going to get some wrestlers to beta test this soon. I think he's talking to a couple of people I forwarded his way. I'll forward you Eddie's info, Mr. Okara, when we're off the air. You can talk to him about it, see what you think. And that's his page. Check him out. He's got more stuff coming up. Here's trending. Here's upcoming. That's the wrong blink because I can't see. And there you go. You can see a bunch of it. And it's great. It's a great page. I love it. You love it. Give it 5 stars. And so I'll forward you some of these people's infos. And
I'll check it out.
And before we leave, let me plug Mr. Okara one more time. Let me get him to 50 subs. He's 3 subs away. Dominic, give Dante Okara a sub. He's at 40-something subs. Get him to 50. He'll sub to your page. You sub to his. You know the drill. But, all right. Well, we'll definitely have you. Oh, by the way, here. People need to vote for me to beat Magnum Carter and retain my YBW Heavyweight Championship and win the Breakouts Championship. Am I going on the YBW page? I can do that right now. Let me do that in community, right? I'm in community. Let me go to there. Let me go there. Let me go to community. No, it's not yet on community. Oh, yep, I got it here. I got it. All right, so we're gonna vote. We're gonna vote for Dom. Let's go, Dom. There we go. There we go. We voted for you, Dom. Dom, I voted for you. I voted for you.
The backyard wrestling we've seen on Instagram pop up quite a lot.
Yes, that would be Aaron Blaze, and this is Dominic. He's the YBW champion. He's the champion there.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of impressive stuff from that.
Well, Dominic's been on Sportswire famously a few times, and he had a famous appearance where he was sleeping on the air, but he made up for it because he defeated Aaron Blaze's opponent not once but 12. Technically, he got 2 big wins over him, technically, but so he made up for it. So,
seeing the action from there makes me feel like, if I don't get back in the independent circuit, I could give the backyard circuit a crack.
Well, if you want to give the backyard a scene, there's a whole load of them here on the Sportswire. There's a whole load of them here, loads of them.
The Dante Okara character technically starred in the backyard. I don't mind going back to my roots.
Well, how far do you want to travel to the backyard? How far?
Oof.
I can get you anywhere. Might even be able to get you the world title. You want to win the world title somewhere?
That's
a serious thing. It's a serious thing. I mean, if you want to go to the backyard, I mean, they'll take you.
I'm more than happy to give the backyard a try once again.
Steven Storm's in the backyard. Has he not asked you about going to Oregon?
He has not. But
you might want to ask him about that. But I'll handle that because we're live right now.
I'll be sure to do that.
Well, it depends on how far do you want to travel. I mean, I can certainly arrange. I can arrange it for you if you'd like to. You talk about it with the missus. We'll talk about it off the air.
It's definitely something for me to think about.
Okay. Well, you know what? Well, I'll certainly handle some of that for you. But all right. So, anything else you want to say before we go? Because then it sounds like to me you'll be back on here. Because if you seem like you're going to be interested, you're going to be back on.
I'm always looking forward to coming back on, Tom. You're a great dude. I look forward to having chats with you all the time.
You're back. You're on the team. You're back. You're back again.
I plan on becoming the 2025 Mr. Sportswire.
Well, you know what? You want to do that? Well, yeah, we'll see you this week then. See you this week.
Let's do it.
Well,
I can do any day but Thursday.
Yeah, Thursdays. Well, Thursdays you got lucky this week, but
I got lucky this week.
You got lucky. You caught me at the right time. Sometimes you get the right bounces. But before we go, do me a favor, everybody. You got 50. Congratulations, buddy. You got to 50. Got you to 50. I told you I'd get there. I got you to 50. And by the way, good news for you. If you'd like to go to Pennsylvania, I know it's far, but Dominic's inviting you.
It's a trip I'll take one day.
I'll connect you to these guys. I'll give you their handles, and we'll do that. And if Ross Galloway is here, I should say. If he's here, I would plug your YouTube channel if you're here. Let me know. Give me the signal. If not, maybe you tuned out. I don't know. But thank you anyway for coming in. But Zilla wanted to say hello.
It's something I'll look into. For now, just keep that title warm for me.
Yes, and I'll send you Ed's info also. In fact, I'll send you Ed's. I got like 4 people to send you info for, so I'm gonna handle that here. Yeah, I can. Yeah, we'll handle that. We'll connect everybody. I'll connect everybody with Eddie. And congratulations, this was fun. I mean, for no announcement, you came on here and got yourself a bunch of subscribers. Made some new friends, and maybe you are coming back to the ring. You got a missus that could be joining you. Boy, you're a package deal after all.
Great. Dante Okara made it.
And you're coming back to Sportswire more than when the first incarnation of you. Boy, you've already announced it.
That small, scrawny, blonde kid from the UK made it.
Yeah, well, you know what? You did make it. You know what? Actually, yeah. I mean, I like to think you made it, and I like to think that this platform made it because, like I said, I can't keep saying that this guy was here, and this guy was here, and this other guy was here. That his name was Savio Vega. I mean, this guy Savio Vega was here. I mean, so what?
Sportswire started off small, and now Sportswire's made it.
Oh, dude, I started off on Skype calls. No joke. Way before you even came on, I was on Skype calls in 2019. And I remember it real quick. Like I'll say the quick story. My friend and I, we did a podcast, and he's like, all right, we're going to record. I bought a sound mixer. I bought a microphone, and we recorded through Skype. And he's like, whatever you do an hour. And I held the microphone. I was so nervous. And we did 59 minutes in like 53 seconds. And you got 51 subs. There you go. Congratulations. You got 51 subs. And let me give Dom a plug one more time. Yeah, give Dom a plug on YouTube. Let me get Dom's YouTube post. You got 7 subs, son. You got 7 subs for no promotion. I mean, that's pretty impressive, I think. I mean, that just shows you the machine on the platform. And where is Dom's YouTube channel? I can't. And Aaron Blake
could do with an announcement.
Well, yeah. Well, you get more followers, but there is the YouTube channel for Mr. Dom himself. Give the champion a sub on YouTube. Check him out. And even though I'm a heel, I have to be nice. 2 heels, boy, 2 heels. Get it? 2 heels. They have to be nice. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dante Okara is back on Sportswire Radio. Never thought I'd see that day coming, but it was one of the more memorable shows. And it sounds like
this was definitely not on my 2025 bingo card.
Yeah, you know what, dude? There's a lot of 2025 things I didn't have on my bucket list. If you would have told me on my scorecard, I would have had Rhino, Savio Vega in 2 weeks, you coming back, and people tuning in. I would have said, yeah, are you nuts? And my mom actually watches my shows. When you were coming on, she hated the platform. She's like, when are you getting out of this podcast? Get out. I want to throw you out. And now, I'm a big fan. It's funny. People stop me in the street. I'm a fan of yours. I have a guy that texted me the other day. He's like, I watched you. I watch you now. We never gave me the time of day. I'll send.
I've got a bone to pick with you, Tom. I saw all the posts back in the day of you wearing everyone else's merch except Dante Okara merch.
Well, do you have merchandise?
I do. I still have some merchandise up on Pro Wrestling Tees, and
okay. Send me a link.
I am working on making some more as well.
And well, you know what? We'll work on that, and I'll give you Aaron Blaze's info. I will give it to you. I'll give you their info. I got like 4 people to connect you with, so we'll do that off the air. And there you have it. I mean, this was Dante Okara. You might see him back on Sportswire in the next day or two, maybe during the week. We'll bring you on more. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. I'll be here at 9:00 for Cato, and maybe next time I'll put you in the Hall of Fame.
After all this time, I am still the king of the asylum.
Well, now you'll really be the king of the asylum, and that'll certainly get some people talking. Yeah, we'll put you in the Hall of Fame. The Lawman's in the Hall of Fame, so I got to put you. The Lawman's in.
I've got to top the Lawman.
Well, I'll put you in the Hall of Fame. I'll put you in the Hall of Fame.
The Lawman owes me. I took care of Conor Cage for him. He owes me.
Yeah, I will be sure to remind him of that. But yes, thank you, everybody. Don't doubt Dominic. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. This was really a fun show. We got a lot of catch up to do off the air. And until then, I'll see everybody here at 9:00. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, where you are on the number 1 global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling.